Hi, I'm Yara and I'm an artist and I have severe anxiety. I'm a really anxious person. This video is me making art and talking about mental health and spirituality. So if that is your jam, stick around. If not, have a nice day. But probably it is your jam because you clicked on this video and I am not a good clickbaiter. So I think that the video pretty much looked how it actually is. Okay, so here is what I have in my art corner right now. It's this big painting called Present Moment. I've been painting this one for a really long time. And then there are those two small ones that I started approximately a week ago, and that's kinda exciting because I almost never start new paintings anymore. I'm wondering what am I going to paint today? Not sure yet. I'm not in the mood and I don't have time to start a new one. I have like 1 hour until I have to make my lunch and then we have therapy with my partner. So I think I'm gonna work on the big one. I think that is gonna be the most brainless thing I can do today for painting. Because I need something brainless, because I'm gonna talk to you about how my summer went, and also I'm kind of tired from work, so I don't have a bunch of energy to do some really complicated painting right now. So yeah, this one I'm pretty much rendering. The present moment painting is almost finished. It needs a couple of more art sessions. This summer was really hard for me. It was not hard for me in the physical world. It was hard for me mentally. My life in a physical form is actually pretty great. I have nothing to complain about. Nothing is perfect, but I have a family who loves me and I love them. I have a good job. I have a roof over my head. I have food in my fridge and I have no major chronic health issues. I just had my 28th birthday. Some may say I am in the beginning of my life's journey, at least in adult life. And still, my summer was not great. My summer was terrible. Most of my summers are because I have anxiety. All kinds of anxieties. Had major issues with OCD in the past. Obsessive thoughts. I get scared of something and then I obsess over it and seek external validation that there is no danger. My brain thinks that I always have to think the worst of situations and expect the worst, because that is the way I am gonna stay safe. That is the way I'm gonna be prepared for anything bad that can happen. And this is a miserable way to live. Yes, it is very miserable to be nice and relaxed and then a horrible news hits you from somewhere. That is a really terrible thing, can leave trauma, happened to me in the past. But living in fear every day and always expecting the worst, so this would not happen, is not that much better. The brain, from evolutionary perspective, thinks it is better because, the brain is trying hard for us to survive, not to be happy. So if the brain's main focus is on us surviving, it is actually smarter to just be scared and on the lookout all the time than to be relaxed and something terrible can hit you, Yeah. The world today, and I'm talking about the Western world in which I live in Europe, in Central Europe, and it is very nice here compared to some other parts of the world. But still, our brains are not made to live in this system. They interpret signals wrong. You are at your marketing job, you get a passive aggressive email from your boss, and your brain interprets it that you are in real life threatening danger. Or, your brain searches for the energy, the calories, and you walk by the bakery, can help yourself, and buy a bag of donuts and eat them. And it is actual poison for us. We were actually meant to rest and be still in our minds for most of the time. And then when we need our brain and we need our body, we actually make it move, make it active. But because of all the stimulus, all the to-dos, all the comparison, the way our society and system functions, we are just always active in our head, and that is not okay, not good for us. And I'm highly neurodivergent. I don't know about non-neurodivergent people, but for myself at least, I can say I clearly feel on my body how this lifestyle, this society is not suitable for my brain to live in. And this is not me complaining. I am fully aware that if I would want to, it would be a struggle, but I could go somewhere in the mountains, buy some land and some cottage for like, I don't know, 5,000 euros, and make a garden and try to survive there. I'm fully aware of that. And I think it would be possible, but I don't do that. I am still kind of feeling that I have something to do here, not exactly sure what. But I still don't do that. So I'm not complaining, and I don't think there is no escape from this. I am aware that I'm choosing to live in this society. I'm just saying that I know very well that my brain was not intended to function in the kind of system that we live in today. I am the queen of tangents, so if I'm just talking your ear off and you're not exactly sure what I'm talking about, I'm just saying I am a queen of tangents, and I am really excited about evolutionary psychology, and I like to think about that stuff. So there it is. But I wanted to talk about summer. This summer, 2025. Today is 26th of August. It's getting a bit chilly, it's getting darker. This summer was pretty much a horror story for me. I have severe health anxiety. We had some pretty scary diagnoses in the family when I was young, and family trauma is really living in me because I am very, very scared of brain tumor, and I'm really scared of cancers in general. And in the beginning of summer, I started to have some pretty scary symptoms, but lots of times in my life I had scary symptoms that were not caused by any disease. They were just, I think, psychological, but they're there and they're trying to force me to be scared and go to the doctor. But basically, I got some really scary symptoms and tried to convince myself it was nothing for a few months. And then finally couldn't convince myself any longer, went to the doctor. The doctor referred me to a brain scan. And the brain scan was scheduled in a month. And the old me would basically pay for the brain scan myself and go as soon as I got the referral, because, we in the country I live in, we have quite bad free healthcare. And then if you want to see specialists quickly, or if you want better medical care, you have to pay for it. So desperate people pay for their healthcare, and people who can afford it. So the old me would just pay for a brain scan. But the new me didn't want to do that because I know myself, I know I have health anxiety, and I know that my brain just finds another thing to be afraid of as soon as I get rid of another thing. So basically, when a doctor referred me to a specialist in the beginning of summer, it was June, I think, I have said to myself, okay, I got the date that was like 11th of August for the brain scan. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna pay for the brain scan myself. That would happen immediately. I will actually try to soothe myself and trust the doctor that said it was most probably nothing, and I will not obsess over this problem because I know that the brain scan will not solve my health anxiety. I will just get new symptoms and new problems, and I will just be scared of other things. It doesn't even have to be health anxiety. It's just that always my brain, my psyche needs to keep a fear going. So the fear just kind of is something, and then when I fear that no longer, I get a new fear, if that makes sense. It's health anxiety, and then I am afraid of people I love dying, and then I'm afraid of me being fired from my job, and then I get health anxiety for a disease again, like I'm afraid I have throat cancer, and then I get scared of something else. Like these are the motions my brain goes to, and I pretty much live in fear constantly because of this anxiety cycle in my head. So I wanted to break the cycle. It was a great opportunity for myself to try to soothe myself and listen to my body and overcome my anxiety and not letting the anxiety win. That is the thing. Like my anxiety works as I'm afraid of something, and then I seek external validation. In this case, like what doctor will say about the brain scan, and then it's a relief when the doctor say I don't have a brain tumor, and then a new fear comes. And I need another validation, another relief. I need someone telling me it's gonna be okay. I'm always afraid and always have to seek comfort outside to soothe the fear. And then the new fear always pops up. And I'm never free of fear. Anxiety is not exactly an addiction, but it feels like an addiction to me. It's constantly presenting a problem. It almost feels like it forces me to go get the drug, that is the external validation, including results of normal brain scan, including Googling my diseases. It searches for validation, and when I get it, I'm satisfied for a little bit, and then the problem arises again and again and again and again. And it always feels like I just need this quick solution. It always feels like I just should go and get the validation, and then it's gonna be all right. And then I do it, and then a new problem arises. I've been addicted to sugar and to nicotine in the past, and I can see the resemblance so much. I would say that my anxiety correlates with me being an addictive person because I am very addictive. I have issues with addictive things. Pretty much can't participate in things that are addictive usually because I just get addicted. So I'm an addictive person, and I think I get addicted to the relief I feel when I get external validation that relieves my anxiety. The question is, what now? So I had a terrible summer. I waited for a brain scan, convinced that I had a brain tumor. And it turns out I don't. And that I was waiting for this brain scan and was anxious for a month and a half, realistically. And I did learn to cope with my anxiety and soothe myself and not went for a quick fix, even though I wanted to go get a brain scan so much. I almost went and paid for it like 3 times in between. I was waiting because, I just wanted the drug, but I didn't. And I'm so proud of myself for not doing it and for taking the hard route, out of this addictive, toxic cycle of my anxiety. The reason I wanted to soothe my anxiety myself and didn't want to seek external validation was because I wanted to trust myself for once. Because even though I was scared and anxious, I trusted myself that I wasn't actually sick and that I didn't need to go to the doctor. I trusted my intuition by not paying for my brain scan and getting it immediately. But I also did that for a price of really hard summer. Stepping out of the cycles of how we are used to function, it's not easy. Committing to peace is not always peaceful. It can be really grotesque and has its really bad moments that certainly do not feel peaceful. But committing doesn't mean meditating for 10 minutes, although that is amazing. But for me, committing means committing my whole life to this. In any situation I am, I will deliberately, intentionally choose the peaceful path in that situation. I will try to, at least. And if I fail, I will pick myself back up and still be committed to peace. It's not about being perfect by any means. That would not be peaceful at all. That would be like forcing something upon yourself, because we are just simply not perfect beings, in a sense that we are not perfect as beings and things we do are not perfect. But yeah, this summer was really hard, but I have chosen peace, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed my ramble, my talk. I have not come very far with this painting today because I was focused on talking, but still, I'm happy I shared the story of my summer with you today. I wanted you to hear it because if you are a person with anxiety, I don't want you to feel alone. And we all live in this crazy society. We all have similar working brains. We are all the same species, after all. So I'm sure you are not alone in anything you are going through. I strongly believe that our mental issues and most illnesses are not the result of something being wrong with us, but of us living in a dysfunctional environment. And I think we deserve better. I think we all deserve to choose peace for ourselves. And that way we also spread it around, because we vibrate the energy we are feeling and living. And yeah, thank you so much.